Hey, welcome back everybody. I want to go ahead and thank you for letting me hit 14,000 subscribers on this channel. I like to title myself Rewired Addiction because it all takes place here, baby. You know what I'm saying? That's the fact. And if you can rewire that, you're going to be successful. Now this video, you guys know what I'm talking about when I say I didn't want to get clean, but I am. I'm going to tell you what I mean, and tell me if you can relate. You know, that's something I picked up along the ways. The goal is to try to relate to whatever the person says as much as possible, regardless of if you relate to everything they say or not. The sun is shining, I got my shades on, I'm enjoying life, and I'm almost 4 years, guys, gals. So, here's what happened. I always relate back to this. I did not want to get clean. I was at the lady's house. First of all, how did I get there? Did I want to? No. I wanted that $140 from mom and pops that I was lying to. Told them the dope dealer was going to kill my family if I didn't pay him back 140 bucks. Now what? Yeah, that's right. I told them this big long story that I supposedly gave my ID to the dope man on a front to get 140 bucks worth of dope, and I owe him or he's going to shoot up my house. So I said some crazy off-the-wall stuff. Absolutely insane. And you know, what's so crazy is you can go from that and then go into a meeting or whatever and talk about insanity, repeating the same thing, expecting different results, right? And I'd go into a meeting and I'd think to myself, I'm not insane. Well, what the hell was that then? What was I doing that? You know, that's insanity too. So I was definitely crazy. And so I ended up calling mom and played this story for like 4 or 5 hours till I finally get her to buckle. I mean, I'm detoxing, I'm feeling like crap. She finally gives the money to Kurt. Kurt was just as bad off as I was. He was trying to detox, except he was under her good graces. I wasn't. So I ended up going and getting this gram from this guy. Me and Kurt, we split it. He's throwing up down the road. I didn't do the whole thing at once, but I ended up getting high for my last time. My last time actually getting high was with Kurt. We're driving. I end up going to this lady's house because I just want to get everyone off my back. I don't really want to change my life. I just want to just get everything better than it is. So I told myself, look, I'm not going to quit doing the drugs, but I am going to get them off my back. I'll go to this lady's house. We'll worry about tomorrow when tomorrow comes. And the funny thing is, the same way we live in addiction, one day, one moment at a time, is the same way we got to live in recovery. When we have been, you know, you're so centered on the drug, you buy half a gram, giving an example, or 5 Percocets or 2 Opanas or whatever, and you're supposed to have one for tomorrow. What do? You do them all tonight, and then you find yourself tomorrow wishing you didn't use all that. That's if you're extreme like me. I mean, I'm not saying people aren't addicts that don't, you know, that may not abuse shit like that, but it's just a fact. And so the next day you're beating yourself up like, man, why did I do that? I'm such an idiot. Well, I told myself, I'll worry about tomorrow when tomorrow comes, and I went to this lady's house. The whole time really not wanting to change my addiction, but I did want my life to get better. Does that make sense? I end up at this lady's house with this kind of like, I don't know what I've been doing mindset. Like, what have I really been doing to myself? You know? And I started to think about, as I was at her house, think about some of the stuff that's going on in my life. DSS is ready to take my kids because someone ratted me out. And I had track marks on my veins, on my arms. So I thought to myself, I need makeup to cover that up. And I'm skinny. I look like I've been using. I might need some help. I don't know. Nah, I'm good. Plus, I was on probation for a felony charge I caught. So now I'm sitting here scratching my head going, damn, I got to go pee for my PO. So I've got a parole officer who's going to be watching me piss and making sure that it's mine. Now, I couldn't even afford to go get a urinalysis past the pee test type thing, like one of those things that helps you pass a urinalysis. I couldn't even afford that. So I got that going on, and they'll throw me in jail if I fail that. My kids, PO, My wife kicks me out of the house. Sorry for all the traffic. And I'm living on couches. Like, it's not right. I'm kicking my own door into my own house, you know, taking my kids' TV. I tell you guys a lot of this stuff, but there's a lot more, man. I used to grab my wife's purse and take her pain meds or money out of her purse, you name it. And I was just not right. I was just not right. On top of that, my parents want nothing to do with me, or at least they really just want me better, and they made it seem like they didn't want nothing to do with me. But I didn't want to stop using drugs. I'm sorry. I wanted my life to get better, but I didn't want to stop using drugs. That's all it was. I remember when my mind changed. I remember when I made like a commitment, a hope on hope, I call it. I was at her house, and I was looking for signs from the universe. I say this every time, whether that was my own subconscious, my own conscious, whatever it was. You can call it spirituality, you can call it Jesus if that's what you believe. You can call it whatever it is that you believe. I keep it very ambiguous. I do. This is not a religious channel. I'm not a religious person. But I will say that some amazing things were going on. Very amazing. And as I continued to see these little things, and I'll give you an example. My mom came over. This kind of ties into psychedelics a little bit, and I only say that because we naturally have the chemicals in our brain to give us that psychedelic trip, if you will, naturally. And I feel like sometimes that psychedelic experience could be useful in situations, and they're starting to do this stuff up in Canada. My pops from Canada has told me about that, so something to consider. I'll probably do updates and talk to him more about some things, and he is PhD in the field, so we'll get some expert experience and knowledge on this. I remember my mom telling me, Derek, I want you to know that I love you. Now I'm colder than Antarctica. I mean, I am frozen inside my heart. And I'm just you know, when you've been using, you're numb, right? You don't really feel the emotions, but when you get clean, all the emotions and experience starts to come back. And sometimes that stress is overwhelming of the things you feel, which cause people relapse. It's a trigger. And my mom said, I just want you to know I love you. And I'm like, oh, I know you love me, Mama. And she's like, no, I want you to know that I love you, son. And I'm like, Mom, I know you love me. I know. And she's like, no, son. No. You don't understand. Derek, I love you. Right? She hit me. She got me. Like, something got me. And I don't know, I felt something cracking, I call it. Breaking apart inside my belly. And it felt emotion. And I was like, all right, Mom, I know, I love you. And it was hurting because I hadn't felt that in a long time. And this is when the lady turned to my mom and dad. She actually told me, shut the F up. And I was like, I wanted to smack her so bad because she made me so angry. I was already not in a good mood. You know, you can only imagine when you're in that state of mind. So she turns to my mom and says, Patty, you need to get Mike the Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. It's a book, a kid's book, a poem book. And I'm thinking, dude, this chick's off her rocker. You know, she's smoking non-stop weed in front of me in the garage while I'm withdrawn from heroin. I'm losing my shit. I don't smoke. I mean, I get paranoid when I smoke. It's not like it would relieve me. I literally get, like, anxious, and it's not an experience that I personally anymore. It stopped working for me. Something happened. I don't know. But I'm thinking, this chick's high as a kite. All of a sudden, I was so mad. I said, I'm done. I'm going in the room. And I was really mad at her saying, shut the F up. So I went in the room to go be by myself because I was detoxing. I didn't hit detox yet, but I wasn't in a good mood. My dad called me later on that day or the next morning. I can't remember. And he says, son, you know I'm not a very religious person. He said, but I want you to know something. Your son approached me last night. And he said he had a book in his hand, and he asked if he could color in it. And I grabbed a book to look at it. And wouldn't you believe that it was The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein, however you pronounce it. And I was like, no way. He goes, and I screamed. I said, Patty, that's my mom. Where did you get this book? She said, before we went to see Derek at Elise's, we went to the flea market on Bragg Boulevard, Fayetteville, North Carolina. We bought a box of books, and it was in there. That was one of the books that was inside there, I guess. Because Caleb, my son, my middle son, told him where he got it. He said, son, the book was in there, and she just told us to get that book that day. Now, one could say that's coincidence, okay? And you might be right. Another could say there's purpose, the universe, God, whatever you call it, okay? That is what was talking to me. I looked for that. Regardless of what you believe, I looked for something that was trying to tell me something. And I thought, this is a sign. This is a sign. I need to grab a hold of this sign, and I need to ask for help. So first I started here, and I said, I need your help if you want me to do it. And it started to give it, in my mind, when I started to ask for help and saying, I can't do it without strength and stuff like that, if I was talking to myself, I was giving myself strength. If I was talking to something that was hearing me in the universe, it was giving me strength. All right? So I end up getting this boost, this motivated, I determined my mind, I started to set in, I can do this, I think I can do this. That night was the worst night I ever experienced with withdrawals. I had a psychological change take place though. And that's what I was going to say when psychedelics, they can cause psychedelic or psychological changes. But I had a psychological change at that time in my early phases of getting ready to detox on getting clean. It helped me to really set my mind and stay on that track. I had moments of weakness. I had moments where I wanted to quit. I had moments where I wanted to use. Don't get me wrong. But the bottom line was that I wasn't going to. And that happened even though I didn't want to start off getting clean. People have to sometimes be pushed into getting clean. Like my brother. I mean, I can't tell you how many meetings I've gone to, you know, and they're anonymous meetings, so nobody knows who you are or whatever, or you're not supposed to share anything like that. But there's people who told me if they didn't get locked up, jail saved their life. If they didn't get, they'd be dead. Really? So forcing someone that doesn't want to sometimes does save their life. So that whole notion of, well, if you don't want it, you won't get clean, as if someone who's in straight up hardcore active addiction, who's in the most extreme, depressed, insane mindset, who doesn't see another way out, doesn't see another option, do you honestly think they're just going to naturally be like, yeah, I want to quit. I'm going to quit. It's very difficult. I've rarely ever seen someone who just makes their mind up in the middle of active addiction and says, I'm going to quit. Usually something bad happens. Usually someone, something has to give way to force them to start making other decisions than the one that they've been making. It's very rare that someone, I get calls all the time, hey, I'm going to go detox on my grandma's couch in Florida, or going to detox on my mom's house and wherever. And I'm like, dude, I would so go to a facility, because we will trick ourselves. We will con ourselves out of the places we were at. I was lucky my phone stopped working. I had no transportation. I at least got 3 or 4 days where I was at her house, and I was looking for signs, and something psychological changed in my mind to give it a chance and really pursue it. As soon as I left her house, I went to meetings. I went every day. Now, I'm not saying that's the only way. Hell no, that is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's what I did. It worked. I don't go to meetings like I used to. I do go to meetings online, but I would go to a meeting, no problem. I just don't go to meetings like I used to. And so it's one thing to sit here and you know, talk about, well, I don't like going to meetings. I don't like the way they are. Hey, look, I get it. I understand why people don't. But you're saying that while you're still in active addiction, stuck doing what you're doing, yet what are you doing to change that? I just don't like the way they are. I don't like how some of the people are in there. Shit, that's the world, you know? And I guess what I'm saying is, Sometimes people don't want to, but they do get clean. And eventually the mind changes to where they do want to get clean. I've seen people pick up 60-day chips, 90-day chips, just strutting by. The court system pushes them to go somewhere. They're like, they make them go. And then what ends up happening is these people have a change of psychosis. They have a change of change of mind sometime along the road, whether it's a relapse or whether something else in their life happens, or optimistic, something good happens, I don't know. Something clicks, something changes, and it makes him want to stay clean. Hopefully you're that person. Love you guys. Derek Lambert, 14,000 subscribers. Thank you for making it this far and making it big. The bigger it gets, the more I can spread this message and just keep it real. Looking for a job right now, might do sales, and I don't know. I'm looking at other opportunities. I'd like to help addicts and their loved ones and stuff. So I don't know. Say prayers for me and have me in your thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. And until next time, thanks a lot for listening.